channel. Got the moose antlers here on my head, if you will. They're on the wall mounted, and we are ready to talk about anything you guys want to talk about as far as guns, ammo, hunting, fishing, Alaska, politics if we have to get into it. I don't like either politics anymore. I used to be all into it, but like I just now they know that they're all bad. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Or this afternoon. Question for you. Should I shoot reloaded 45 ACP somebody gave me? It's reloaded. It's like soft lead bullets. Yeah, that's a question. Should you ever shoot somebody some reloads that somebody gave you? Especially when it was like, I went over to his house to buy a guitar, and he gave me reloads. There it is. All right. Hello from Anchorage. What's up? What's up, Curmudgeon? GT Junior grows at Alaska. Cool. Is this, you do like a farm type thing? It's pretty cool to see another Alaskan channel in here. So let me know, and we'll see what you do. Play the song medium paced. I have no idea what that means. So, howdy, Chuck. Depends on if you trust the fellow. Yeah, I don't know if I trust the fellow or not. I'm sure he seemed like a nice guy. So what I was planning on doing is doing a video, say shooting somebody else's reloads, and see if they blow my gun up. So cool. Anyway, so we on my chats, you ask any question about guns, hunting, Alaskan that you want, and I will get it answered for you as best I can. And here's what it is. I grow plants outside and indoors. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I found that kale grows really well here. I love growing kale. I hate eating it because I'm not like a hippie nerd, but I love growing it. No offense to the hippie nerds out there, but I do love growing it. So there is that. So we've got good growth on our cabbages, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, all of that jazz, of course. And then we've got good growth on our potato plants. I haven't put enough dirt on them yet to make them produce a lot of potatoes, but we will see. So, what's up, Justin Perriman? How you doing? Yeah, and so we've got good growth on Georgia collard greens. Got some beans that grew well, some parsnips, all that stuff. Yep, you need to hill them. Yeah, the potatoes. Yeah, they're in boxes actually, in tires. And I pour more. I go and I pour more soil on them. I just haven't poured enough on them yet. Kind of is what it is. So last year I didn't hill them, and I got about 8 small red potatoes per plant for small red potatoes, and they were just in my garden. And then I got some really good production out of the ones inside the tires. So I've stacked the tires 3 high, and I've got 4 or 5 stacks of those. And that's the one thing about changing tires so often in Alaska. What's up, Salver? How you doing? Good to see you on the channel. I don't think I've seen you before, but yep, I'm doing all right today. I cooked my kale down, a little bacon and onions and a little chicken stock. Now, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I much prefer spinach over kale for the taste, though. I tell you what loves kale. Moose. Moose love kale. All right. I when I lived in Anchorage, I had an open fenced backyard, and like it was open on one side, and the moose would come and steal the kale like crazy. Burnt Kitty Ridge. Somebody is deleting all my normal comments lately. Maybe they stay up in the chat. Oh, okay. What's up? I won't delete your comments as long as they're not crazy. Anyway, so that's that. Indetermined potatoes need to be healed, and determined does not need to be healed. Okay, so what's the difference between, educate me here. What's the difference between indetermined and determined? Too bad we can bait them with kale, LOL. Oh, did you mean to say that? Yeah, deer eat all sorts of things. All deer species, including this one here, eat all sorts of things. So, too bad we can't bait them. I mean, if it's naturally growing in the ground, I'm just saying. I love Alaska. Yeah, me too, buddy. I really love living here. I literally can't imagine going anywhere else. Do you use game cameras for moose, elk, and caribou? We don't have elk in this part of Alaska. They're only on certain islands near Juneau and the island of what is it? Kodiak. Can't. Yeah. So elk are only in those places. So caribou are not in this part of Alaska as they don't go this far south. There is one herd on the Kenai Peninsula. There are not no herds in the Palmer Wasilla area. Occasionally, you will see some caribou venture all the way down to Hatcher's Pass, but it's rare. People videotape it when it happens. I'm from India. Cool, yeah. I see tourists from India all the time. They're always taking pictures and stuff like that on the side of the road. So that's cool with me. I mean, I'm one big tourist who's lived here for 11 years. Is what I said. Um, Skittles. Wild deer are eating Skittles. That's crazy, dude. A burnt kitty ridge. What's up, Christopher Abernathy? Oh, well, right. So yeah, I only use game cameras for bear and elk, or excuse me, bear and moose behind my house, and coyotes apparently. So determinate potatoes only produce on one level. Ah, okay. And indeterminate produces on many levels. So how do I know what is the determinate species and an indeterminate species before I buy the potato seedlings? Or species is the wrong word, maybe breed or whatever. We have a small herd of caribou by me, but we cannot hunt them. Yeah, because units 12, 13, 14, 16 are like all banned for caribou right now. Rachel Mop, what do you look for in a man? I don't look for anything in a man. Let's see. You get depressed during winter. That's a good question because that is a topic that a few people are willing to address up here. Not usually. I have found depressed when have found not like clinically depressed, just a little sad. Um, when I can't go to work because of the snow for like a week and a half. Like I want to work and I don't want to be stuck at home. And there have been times where we've gotten 2 or 3 feet of snow overnight, and we can't get out of our house, and schools have shut down. And that's happened twice over the last couple of years. The last 2 years were some of the worst snow years on record since I've been here. And yeah, it's frustrating in the idea that it's just frustrating in the idea that hey, I could be out doing something productive, but the snows get me in. So that's that. Let's see. Next question, David E. That is a great question. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for saying that. There are people who do get seriously depressed during the winter. I have found one of the best things is make sure you travel to somewhere warmer for even a week between November and spring break. If you can travel a place that's warmer between November and spring break, you're doing good. What is the best pistol cartridge to defend yourself from a grizzly? Alex. All right, Alex, great question. Um, the answer is the pistol cartridge you can shoot the best with the proper ammo. Okay, that's the answer. If you flinch at anything with recoil over a 9mm, then you carry a 9mm with 147 grain hard cast ammo if your barrel can take it. Like not all barrels can take it, like Glock barrels or something. So put a KKM in your Glock 19 and you'll be fine. KKM barrel. So the answer is that's what it is. If you can shoot a semi-automatic better than you can shoot a revolver, because what matters, you have to if you're going to stop the bear charge, you have to get a central nervous system hit. Brain, spinal column. Simple as that. All right. Otherwise, I mean, there have been stories of bears shot with a 338 Winchester Magnum rifle round through the heart, and they were ready to pounce on the people that were coming to find the wounded bear in the brush. Okay, so there have been stories of that happening. I before I moved to Alaska, I was at the rifle range in Georgia with a guy. He got stuck out in the wilderness on a plane in Alaska during 9/11, and all the planes were down. They were starting to eat the moose meat they had gathered, and they were starting to gather berries and all this other stuff. They got charged by a grizzly bear, and they each had 338 Winchester Magnums. They got charged by a grizzly bear from 100 yards away. It landed at their feet after it took 9 shots of 338 Winchester Magnum. So you need to get a quick central nervous system hit, and the best bullet that's going to do that is hard cast or solid coppers. The extreme penetrators can do it too, from like Lehigh and Underwood. And your best bet is to have a gun that you can shoot well. Now, should you learn to shoot a more powerful gun well? Yes. Like, I have put some practice into my 44 Magnum so that I can shoot it well. I have put some practice into 10 millimeter so I can shoot it well. I still think if you're only going into the wilderness where you know there are bears with a pistol only, you deserve what you get. Because the best bear protection is a lever action 4570 or a semi-automatic in a bigger caliber like 338 Win Mag for like the Browning BAR or 300 Winchester Magnum like the Great Lakes AR-10 that they have, or even just a 308 in an AR-10, but with good penetrating bullets, and you have 25 rounds of those. So if you're going into bear country without a rifle and only a handgun, you kind of deserve what happens to you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I haven't done it before. I've done it many times, only a handgun, no rifle. But I had proper bullets. I could shoot well. And, if you go with other people and there's a crowd of you, 2 or 3, you're not going to even see a bear at distances that you would have to worry about it. So, Alex, the best pistol is the one you do. Most people up here use a 44 Magnum or a 10 millimeter. If you can do better than a 44 Magnum, like 480 Ruger, 454 Casull, that's great. If you can do it, it kind of is what it is. What kind of game instruments do you use? Knife, saw. For moose, you need a chainsaw. Like, I literally cut these antlers off with a chainsaw. That's why there's like a rip in them right in here. You can't see it on there, but yeah. So for a moose, you need a chainsaw or some type of power saw. You can get the antlers off, because I had a folding bone saw with me, and these things are so thick I would have been there all freaking day. As it was, it took me 10 minutes of careful cutting, which I slipped up a couple of times, to get these off of the chainsaw, or the 16-inch chainsaw. As far as knife is concerned, I use the Outdoor Edge replaceable blades. Shed Knives had sent me one to review. I'm carrying that with me to review until I get something to actually carve up with it. So that's that. They say 22-250 will kill a moose, but it's usually not legal. 22-250 will kill anything you want it to kill. It just depends on where you place the bullet. It's just a small bullet. I have a 22-250. There are 22-250 videos on my channel. I think it's an excellent cartridge. Is the 22 Creedmoor better? Yes, way better. Not even close. So kind of is what it is. All right. You got to load it with a good bullet like TSX or TTSX or something that is not going to just break apart, that there's something left of the bullet. So 22-250 is there. I'm pretty behind on questions. Any life hacks? Life hacks? No, not really. Work as hard as you can. There's no hacks. Usually it's labeled. Okay, thank you, GT Junior Grows at Alaska. I appreciate that. The guy meant he thinks you're handsome. Yeah. Well, I am ugly. That is for sure. I absolutely need sunlight exposure for morale. LOL. Well, it does on the sunny days in the winter. It's nice. It's usually just 33 below. Yeah. What's funny is when it warms up to snow, the moisture brings in warmer air, and so if it's been -10 for a week, and then all of a sudden it's 28, it's 28 and cloudy. It's been -10 and probably sunny. Not necessarily, but that's generally the way it works. I was going to ask, in wintertime, what do you get tired of the most, the snow or the cold? Yeah, I would say it's definitely the snow most of the time. So what I discovered about winter here, and why I've been here as a southern boy who grew up in Georgia, and I've been here 11 years, what I've discovered about winter in Alaska is it is what you make it. If you go out on snowshoes and go hunt for grouse and ducks or not ducks, but grouse and caribou and anything else that, is in season, that kind of thing. You got a winter permit for moose and archery. If you go do those things, and you're going to have a fun winter. Winter's going to be fun. When I was coaching high school football, I did more hiking and hunting in the winter than I did in the spring and summer and fall, because that's when I had time, So the winter is what you make it here. Do you want to go cross country skiing and on a back country course? Great, go do it. Go put on some snowshoes and walk and make your own path. The great thing about snowshoes is you can walk anywhere you want to. There doesn't have to be a path there. All right, you make your own path. In fact, when I lived in Anchorage, the far north Bicentennial Park area there and Campbell Creek Science Center, I made so many snowshoe trails that I confused the mountain bikers and the fat tire bikers, the ones that have like tires that are this wide on their bikes. I confused the fat tire bikers on where the trails were. They were getting lost and like, where did this trail go and all that kind of stuff. And some of them liked it. Some of them were like, yeah, I've noticed new trails. Thanks for making them with your snowshoes. Other people are like, oh my goodness, I don't know where I'm at. I'm like, You could kind of tell the difference between a snowshoe trail, but once mountain bikers got on it and packed it good, really good, yeah, it was interesting. So Rich B, the winner is what you make of it. I mean, and that's true where you are. I mean, Appalachia, you get some snow. Rich B, Virginia, you get some snow. You get a lot of rain. Get some cold. What you make of it, that is what it is. Yeah, Anchorage had way higher than normal snow this past year and the year before that. Snow is crap. Constant shoveling, Rich B. Last year was the worst. Yeah, Joshua Christensen, you ain't wrong. With a heart shot on a brown bear can keep running for 30 seconds. They have a very low heart rate. I've heard it's more than that. I've heard it's 30 minutes. Regardless of bullet type or caliber, shot placement is most critical when dealing with bear. But it has to have the range if it's hunting and the penetration to hit an organ. That's correct. Bullet type is going to be just as critical, because if you shoot an ELDX right in the nose and it breaks up on that large nose thing, that ELDX is not going to penetrate and you're going to have a pissed off bear with a broken nose. If you shoot it in the same place with the Barnes TTSX, well, then it's going to have some chips off, but the bullet will go through the brain. So bullet placement is shot placement, and your accuracy is critical. Don't get me wrong. But it does you no good if you have a bullet that won't penetrate to the organ. So I think we're saying the same thing, Burt Kitty Forge. Like I always say on the channel, 99%, or no, not 90% is shot placement. Because you could hit it right here with a 22 and be just as good as hitting right here with a 338 Win Mag. All right? It could be just as dead, just as quick. Okay? But, if you don't have that 90%, yeah. But the next 9% to make 99% is bullet construction. So if that 22 is made out of something like the eco speeds that break apart or whatever, and it doesn't penetrate the eye socket, then you got a problem. And if the ELDX hits the nose and doesn't penetrate, well, then you got a problem. So you got all these problems that would happen. It was a lot, and my snowblower stopped working. Yeah, my snowblower stopped working last year too. It was bad, few hours, because neighbors snowblowed my driveway. Crazy snow, yeah. Sup, Busted Base? I'm actually waiting to catch this one. What's up? Ruthless Savage, 4570, the best bear gun and for best hunting gun for short range in Alaska is the 4570. Marlin guide guns, SBLs, the Henry X, very, very good stuff. I figured a 338 would put bears DK in the dirt. Hello. Well, yeah. I mean, the one I shot and the one you see on the channel with the pretty blonde thing that I lay my guns on top of the thing, the one I shot definitely went down and was DK in the dirt right there. He was still breathing and breathing, so it was what it was. That's why I live in the bush. Do not have to shovel except my steps in the woodshed. LOL. There you go. Is 10 millimeter a good one? Yeah, 10 millimeter is a good round. I love 10 millimeter. In fact, I have a song on my channel, music video, dedicated to the 10 millimeter. Okay, so, and I can't sing that good, so don't go look it up. Well, go look it up. I don't care. So anyway, 10 millimeter is great. It penetrates very well. You got 15, 16 shots. I mean, you just got to be careful about jams. A lot of the non-Glock 10 millimeters, with the exception of the Springfield XDM, the rest of them, they have ammo picky issues with the wider, flatter things of solid coppers and hard cast stuff. Like the Sig X10 had that. The FN 510 was a little bit better. But yeah, the Glock Model 40 and put a KKM barrel in it, and you've got the best bear gun 10 millimeter you can have. What's up, David Posey? You're not late. I didn't even tell you all I was going to do this. 12 gauge slugs and a 32 ACP. Yeah, there you go. Shoot yourself with a 32 ACP as it's eating you. 20 gauge double barrel with slugs. Yeah, it'll work. What do you think about 270? Okay, he's getting me on a soapbox here. I've hunted animals with 270. I've killed white-tailed deer in Georgia with the 270. I will say it doesn't seem to bring white-tailed deer down as fast as something bigger, like a bigger diameter, like a 308, 4570, 300 Win Mag, that kind of thing. 30-06, they don't tend to just go down right there, you know? So that's one thing about the 270. What I don't like about 270 is the throat erosion. Of course, you're going to have that in any caliber where, the throat is significantly smaller than the diameter of the casing. So 6.5 PRC is going to have it. 300 WSM is going to have it. They're going to have throat erosion, but it seems to happen worse in 270. There's that. I don't like the fact that there's no match grade chambers. So like 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, even 30-06, 300 Win Mag, 7 Mag, 6.5 PRC, they all have match grade chambers that are, the chamber is spec'd, and the throat, the distance between the lands of the rifling and where the chamber sits, the bullet sits, the throat is usually fairly standardized, and you don't have a lot of long throats in those calibers. 270, I've had so many 270s with a long throat that I literally had to load the bullet longer than the magazine could hold in order to get good accuracy out of the gun. So I am not saying that 270 is a bad cartridge, but they don't build the firearms standard with a match grade chamber, and that really hurts and it doesn't mean you can't get it good at accuracy, but it means 270 isn't going to be consistent from rifle to rifle to rifle. All right. And the same's true with my wife's 270 right now. So the other thing about 270 is there are a lot of calibers way better. 30-06 with a 130 grain bullet, because there's a 130 grain Barnes. You can get going 3,300 feet per second. You're going to max out around 3,200 feet per second with the 270. So you get 100 feet per second more, and out at safe hunting distances out to 500, the BC of the 270 isn't going to make up for the 100 feet per second more, 150 feet per second more of the 30-06 with the 130 grain bullet. So I've got a whole video on why I don't like the 270, why I think it's obsolete or overrated or all that kind of stuff. That all being said, Kyle German, I have 3 lightweight rifles in my repertoire. I had a 300 Win Mag, I have a 300 Win Mag, I have a Tikka T3X 270, and I have a Kimber lightweight hunter and in 6.5 Creedmoor. And I took them all out of the range, and whichever one was going to do the best is what I was taking caribou hunting this year. And I've had lots of issues with my 300 Win Mag inaccuracy, and I was getting there with the Kimber, but just wasn't comfortable enough with the Kimber. So I took the 270 with me caribou hunting this year. I didn't get anything. My back started seizing up. We didn't even really hike out the 5 miles. We had to hike out to do that. So that being said, I hate the 270, but I used it this year. Does that answer your question? So anyway, yeah, that's is what it is. Cordless reciprocating saw. That's one thing you need to bring. 3.5-inch super mag with 18-inch copper-plated lead balls. Used to be a whole Glock in one shot. It really kicks though. Yeah, I bet it does. The one thing about shotgun, you want to make sure the shotgun rounds are waterproof, because in Alaska you're always crossing river. You're wearing waders while you're hunting half the time. Slugs and big balls, the big 3-shot balls, loads and that kind of thing. They tend not to be waterproof, so is what it is. Yeah, no problem. And the Great Lakes AR and 300 Win Mag looks like one heck of a deal. I wonder if its parts are compatible with lighter AR-10 parts. I think a lot of its parts are proprietary. I'm hoping the trigger's not. I'm hoping to get one of those. Even if glass bedding and checking the accuracy on my 300 Win Mag does help. I might still sell it and get one of those because those are so cool. Carry a bunch of different blades. I had a custom Ulu made, and I put the grip on it and use that for skinning. Only beveled on one side. There you go. 454 Casull. What do you think about 454 Casull? It's pretty good. Yeah, it's great. The As far as handguns go, the best one to carry in Alaska for a revolver guy is the Ruger Toklat 454 Casull. Again, if you can be accurate with it, but that kind of thing. Or the Smith & Wesson 500, excuse me, 460 in a 5-inch barrel, which you could shoot 454 Casull from, or 45 long Colt. I just had a couple of videos, one short and one long form video, come out on the 454 Casull Ruther Savage. We were actually shooting it from Rossi lever action and looking at its velocity gain and that kind of thing over what it would be in a handgun. So I highly suggest you go check those videos out. I had the 480 Ruger versus 454 Casull video. So I've been hunting with the 480 Ruger in that Rossi lever action because that was what was lent to me by a Patreon member. He wanted me to keep it until I killed something with it. So I've been hunting with that. I've been hunting all around my house for bear with that 480 Ruger. So it kind of is what it is. What's up, dude? Las Vegas checking in. Looking for a new EDC knife with a great lock. I'm not really a knife channel. I lose my pocket knives too easily, so I carry the cheapest Kershaw I can get, So that is what it is. Can you find gold if you wanted to? Yes. I don't really want to. But yes, you can. Ice fishing is fun too. Yeah, ice fishing's a good one. Will 6.5 Creedmoor be an okay round for moose in a pinch with the right shot placement and proper ammunition? Yes, Jim Smith, it'll be fine. This moose right here was killed with a 6.5 by 284 Norma. So, what, 100 feet per second more than the 150 feet per second more than the Creedmoor at most? I get about 3,000 feet per second with the 127 grain LRX out of the 6.5 by 284 Norma, and I get about 28, 50-ish, 28, 20s, depending on the load, out of the 6.5 Creedmoor. So 150, 180 feet per second more, something like that. Yeah, you can do it. You wouldn't want to use a bullet that breaks apart on bone because, moose rib bones that big around, it's going to shred an ELDX. I mean, but something like, LRX or Hornady CX or something like that that's going to penetrate a 140 grain nozzle partition, 6.5 Creedmoor will be fine. 6.5 Creedmoor is more powerful than 6.5 by 55 in loaded ammunition because the 6.5 by 55, a lot of the older guns couldn't take modern pressures. Now, you can get the 6.5 by 55 Swede in a modern gun like a Tikka. They make that. You could get that thing really built up to some nice pressures and nice velocities. But the 6.5 Creedmoor is more powerful with a 140 grain bullet than what most companies load a 6.5 by 55 Swede with. And a 6.5 by 55 Swede has probably killed more moose than any other cartridge in the world. Save maybe 30-06 here in North America. But the Scandinavians use that for moose all the time and have used it for 100+ years. Like the 6.5 by 55 Swede is their 30-06, if you want to make that comparison. And a 6.5 Creedmoor is more powerful than that, Jim Smith. So yes, I have no doubt a 6.5 Creedmoor could take down a moose. That's a good rant on the 6.5 Creedmoor. I don't do that. Let's see. I'm from Georgia too. Cool. What part? A good kayak is the best. Yeah, a good kayak really helps. I do pack rafts though. 6.5 Creedmoor all the way. I like 6.5 Creedmoor. PRC and 6.5 by 284 better though. I hope I can find the charmer getting in this year. Yeah, me too. I've read that some Glock 20 Gen 5s are giving people issues. Have you heard that? And is it all corrected now? I've never heard that. Chuk had a video on it, but Chuk didn't clean all the packing oils out of his gun. Like that is like gun ownership 101. You buy a new gun, you clean all the packing oils out of it. Otherwise, those packing oils are going to bind to all the dirt and powder debris you just did, and you're going to have some problems, and it's going to jam a lot. Okay. I had a friend. She bought a 9mm shield, and we went out to the range to shoot it. And after shooting 150 rounds or so, that thing looked like you had just poured tubes of grease in it. All right. Because all that packing oil bonded with the stuff. And I told her you have to clean a gun before you shoot it. That's gun ownership 101. So, yeah, anybody who's like, yeah, I haven't heard any issues with Glock 20 Gen 5. So, how do you keep the game meat from spoiling? Salt. How many days does it take to get it back to the cooler? 1. And do you process all your own game? Yes, I process all my own game because I have celiac disease, and I don't trust a game processor that has pork and wheat and all this other chemicals that are in there. Myself, one of the reasons why I hunt is because I have an organic diet. All right, that I have to stick to, so that I don't, die from intestinal issues. He just said 22 Creedmoor is better than 22 250. That's a lot. Yep, no, that's true. Google it. Yeah, it's true. In 62 grain bullets, I know you can get a. So I'll tell you this, Burnt Kitty Ridge. One of my friends on the channels on YouTube is Buffman Range. If you haven't gone and seen Buffman Range channel, what are you doing with your life? You're making bad decisions, okay? Buffman Range has a 22 Creedmoor project. Okay, it has an 18 or 19 inch barrel. 18 or 19 inch barrel. With 62 grain M855A1 projectiles, the steel tip projectiles, out of that 19 or 18 inch barrel, whatever it is, he is getting 35 50s feet per second. Okay? That's 22 Creedmoor. I have an AR-10 in 22 250 with a 26 inch barrel. And the best I can get that bullet to go is about 26-30. So I have 8 more inches of barrel, or 7 or 8 more inches of barrel, and I'm only getting about 80 feet per second more than 22 Creedmoor. Okay? So, by the way, Creedmoor is spelled Creedmoor. It's not Creedmoor, it's Creedmoor. Okay? So, I hate it when people spell it wrong. Just disrespect. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the 960 Roland is a pretty cool round, too. Yeah, 4570 under 100 yards all day to death. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Thanks for the patch, by the way. I'm a 308 fan. Yeah, 308's great. Like 308, I often carry my 308 hunting with me. 308's awesome. Killed my first deer with a 308. Killed the last whitetail deer I killed in Georgia with a 308. Same 308. My dad's 308. And it's pretty good. Yeah, so. Do you have to cut moose or bear meat with pork like you would a deer, or is the fat of those animals okay? I never cut a deer with pork. I don't I have an organic diet, and one of the things I don't eat a lot of is pork. I eat a few pieces of bacon here and there, or a few salamis that have pork in it. But if I were to sit down and eat a pork roast or a pork chop or something like that, no, I would die. I would die of intestinal. I wouldn't die, but I'd be on the toilet for a few days. So I'd rather die. Anyway, so I don't ever cut anything with pork, especially deer. You don't need to cut deer with pork. Bacon wrap it. Take some deer burgers, put some olive oil in them, crush them together as best you can, wrap them in bacon. All right? But you don't need to actually mix pork or pork fat in there, or beef fat. But no, you have more fat on these animals, and you really don't need to do it with that. Common NATO caliber, easy to find. I agree with that. Carry a hatchet like a camp axe for backup. Yep. 30 seconds or 30 minutes, long time chased by the bear. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. I was just thinking about the mountain men with the wimpy black powder. They had axes as well. Yep. Use some butter. I'm subscribing. Thank you, Ruthless Savage. I appreciate it. Hi, Country Adventures. Hello. Just wondering, what would you recommend for my 378 Weatherby? What bullet you would recommend for my 378 Weatherby for elk? 378 Weatherby? I'm not the Weatherby guy. Reloading Weatherby channel on YouTube is the one to ask. But if they make the bullet, Barnes LRX would probably be my top bullet for elk. Barnes TTSX would be good. The new Hornady CX would be good. And I'm not a big fan of Hornady bullets, but Nosler Akibon long range or Nosler Akibon would be good. Akibon does need a lot more speed than the long range. So if you're planning on shooting your elk at 500 or 600 yards, get the long range. If you're planning on shooting it at 200 or 300 and stalking closer, get the regular Akibon. I'll tell you that much. Akibon doesn't, it's a lot like a copper bullet. It doesn't expand beneath a certain range. And I've reached that range on a caribou before. So, yeah, it just had holes straight through it. So, yeah, Barnes LRX, Barnes TTSX, Hornady CX, whichever one's most accurate out of your rifle. Load up some test ones. Let me know how it works out too, High Country Adventures. I want to know. So, Burnt Kitty Forge black powder is not wimpy. I have taken 2 bears up here with black powder, no issues. Yep, is not wimpy. It's not. 30-06 is my go-to. Yeah, why not? Nice to see you here in the chat, Abaddon. Hudson Valley Preppy double tap your screen on Android to like this live. Thank you guys. Just double tap your screen. Doesn't work for me, but it works for you. All right, let's see. I have a Browning T-Bolt, very old, very rare, made in Belgium. Cool. I'm not a big fan of Brownings. The one I had was a 270 that had those chamber and throat erosion issues. It's like they made that barrel at 5 p.m. on a Saturday night or Friday evening. Would you say a regular AR-10 and 308 would do everything you needed for Alaska, including bear defense? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing an AR-10 couldn't accomplish. Anonymous friend took a nice sized brown bear with an AR-10 and 308. There you go. Tomar? 308 is light for me and 270 too big, too, for big game. Oh, yeah, but... So my 308 sends a 150 grain Barnes TTSX at 2890 out of a 18-inch barrel, and I'm still 0.5 grains below the max powder charge according to the Barnes manual. So, kind of is what it is. Hey guys, what does he have antlers? Because they're mounted to the wall behind me, but I'm sitting here making it look like I have the antlers on my head. Yeah, I mean, that looks good, all right? All right, hit those likes. My brothers, appreciate it. Anonymous, Hudson Valley and survival. Biggest game I see here in New York is black bear. Yeah, are you able to hunt back there? Is that a thing? Let me know. So,